Good morning and a very warm welcome. You are watching JanataTelevision and this is English Bulletin. With me, it's Bhadra. The top stories first. Authorities ease lockdown in Kathmandu Valley, odd-even rule to apply for vehicles from today. Death toll from coronavirus climbs to 312. Majority of victims are reported to be elderly people. Central Bank bars banks from increasing interest rate before maturity. BFIs to pay interest for minimum balance of customers. 10 killed in Kabul blast. First Vice President suffers minor injuries. And Serena Williams reaches US Open semi-finals, sets her eyes on record equaling 24th Grand Slam title. And now, the news in detail. The district administration offices of Kathmandu, Lalitpur and Bhadra have decided to ease the prohibitory order in the valley from today. The restrictions were in force since August 19. A meeting of the chief district officers of the three districts took a decision to this effect after consulting with the Home Ministry yesterday. As per the new provision, vehicles will be allowed to operate on the basis of odd-even rule. Public vehicles with capacity of more than 16 seats will be allowed to operate under this system from today. The local authorities have decided to open various sectors by taking necessary safety measures. But educational institutions and cinema halls, as well as other places likely to draw a crowd, will remain closed until further notice. The local government has allocated separate days to run different businesses. Starting from today, shops and other businesses can remain open on the days fixed by authorities. As per the decision, shopping malls, fancy dress stores, shoes and cosmetic shops will remain open on Mondays, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Likewise, shops selling kitchenwares and utensils will remain open on Sundays, Tuesdays and Fridays. Similarly, automobiles and furniture shops can remain open on Mondays and Wednesdays. On the other hand, roadside vendors, footpath shops, stationery shops, electronics and departmental stores can remain open till 11 in the morning and from 4 to 7 in the evening. Meanwhile, coronavirus has claimed 6 more lives in the country, taking death toll to 312. Among the deceased, 3 are men and 3 women. 5 out of the 6 victims were elderly people, the Health Ministry said during a regular press conference yesterday. Spokesperson at the Health Ministry, Dr. Jageshwar Gautam, informed that 1,081 new cases of coronavirus were reported in the country during the latest round of tests. Among them, Kathmandu alone reported 394 infections, followed by 36 in Bhadra and 34 in Lalitpur. With this, the total number of COVID-19 cases in the country has climbed to 49,219. According to the ministry, a total of 33,882 people have been discharged from the hospitals across the country after complete recovery from the disease. As of today, there are 15,025 active cases of coronavirus in the country. The ruling Nepal Communist Party is preparing to hold its standing committee meeting starting from Friday. Chairman duo KP Sharma Oli and Pushpa Kamal Dahal have discussed about their proposals to be put forward in the meeting. Party Chairman and Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli met with Executive Chairman Pushpa Kamal Dahal yesterday at Balwadar to discuss the agendas for the upcoming meeting. The interactions lasted for nearly 2 hours. The chairman duo also discussed about the report submitted by NCP Task Force on August 21st last month and the possible amendments to the report, informed Bishnu Sapkota, press advisor to Dahal. The 6-member task force, led by NCP General Secretary Bishnu Paudal, had earlier submitted a 16-page report to the chairman duo. Senior NCP leaders had raised various questions regarding the report during the Secretariat meeting held on September 3rd this month. The report will be endorsed by Friday's meeting after certain amendments by the Standing Committee meeting, Sapkota added. The Standing Committee meeting, which was earlier scheduled for July 28, had been postponed due to internal rift within the NCP. Implementation of the report is expected to resolve the internal rift within the party. This is Janata Bulletin. We'll be right back after a short break. Welcome back after the break. We continue with other national news. Social activists have submitted a memorandum to Agriculture and Livestock Development Minister Ghanshyam Bhushal demanding action against the contractors who failed to deliver fertilizers on time. They also demanded that the defaulting contractors be made liable to pay for the damages. Social activist Jagat Bhushal and Dwarika Tungel submitted the memorandum to the Agriculture Minister yesterday. They have demanded that all contractors who fail to deliver the fertilizers on time must also pay for the damages to the farmers. In addition to that, the contractors must also be blacklisted, states the memorandum. With the long-standing problem of scarcity of fertilizers in Nepal, the activists have also raised questions about the government's initiation regarding the production of fertilizer in the country.
यो धरौटी जफत गरिएको छ त्यति मात्रै गरेर पुग्छ कि उनीहरूले समयमा मल ल्याइदिएको कारणबाट किसानलाई परेको मार्का र साथसाथै त्यसबाट राष्ट्रलाई परेको क्षतिको बारेमा पनि उनीहरूबाट त्यो क्षतिपूर्ति गराउनतर्फ किन यस सम्बन्धमा कारबाही सुरु अघि बढाउनुहुन्न भन्ने कुरा पनि हामीले मन्त्रीजी समक्ष राख्यौं।
Soilum Construction Company and Honeyco Multiple Company are the two contractors who failed to deliver chemical fertilizers on time. Meanwhile, operating the Model Community Hospital in Sundar Bazar of Lamjung has become increasingly difficult with the increase in the risk of coronavirus infection. As the number of cases in the district has increased, the hospital has made isolation wards available to the coronavirus patients, but that has increased the risk of infection and reduced the number of people visiting the hospital. Since last July, the hospital has designated a floor to the service of any patients who needs medical attention due to the coronavirus. With the expense of keeping the hospital running at around 600,000 every month, it is now unable to keep all staffs in its payroll. The 15-bed hospital has been in operation since the last 10 years with the latest technology and equipment. Today is the 107th birth anniversary of late Nepali Congress leader BP Koirala, who is also the first elected Prime Minister of Nepal. The Nepali Congress has decided to celebrate the birth anniversary of BP Koirala by organizing various programs. The Congress Party will celebrate it for 3 consecutive days through the online platform Zoom. Party President Sher Bahadur Deuba, leader Ramchandra Paudel and spokesperson Bishwa Prakash Sarma will be involved in the program on 10th September, which will be about BP Koirala's vision for the prosperous Nepal. 11th September will discuss about BP's vision in maintaining international relations with neighboring countries. On the 3rd day, discussions will be held about BP Koirala's methodology in determining the future political strategy. The BP birth anniversary will be celebrated through online discussion forums, while all other in-person programs will be held by following physical distancing. And now, the news from Economic Front. Nepal Rashtra Bank has barred banks and financial institutions from increasing the interest rates on personal loans. The central bank on Tuesday issued the Unified Directive 2077, which states that BFIs will have to maintain a fixed interest rate for personal term loans with more than 1 year of maturity period. Now, banks and financial institutions will not be able to change interest rates on such loans midway through or before the maturity period. This arrangement will be implemented for personal loans like home and auto loans, along with any loans that requires monthly or periodic installments for payment which have more than 1 year to maturity, mentions the revised directive. Banks will no longer be allowed to deduct any amount from an account in case it is below the minimum balance. The directive has a provision that ensures interest payment even in the amount kept as the minimum balance in the account. Banks and financial institutions will also have to pay a minimum interest rate on the amount taken from their customers as a collateral for local facility. We'll be taking a short break here at Janata Bulletin. Stay tuned for international and sports news. Welcome back, and now the international news. At least 10 people were killed after a deadly blast in the Afghan capital of Kabul, which was targeted at War-torn country's Vice President Amrullah Saleh. Vice President Saleh escaped the attack with minor injuries, BBC reported, citing the Interior Ministry of Afghanistan. According to BBC, the explosion occurred just before Afghanistan and the militant group Taliban were preparing to begin their first formal talks. However, Zabihullah Mujahid, spokesperson of Taliban, tweeted that the militant group does not take the responsibility for the attack. Footage filmed shortly after the explosion showed a large plume of black smoke rising from the scene, BBC reported. A spokesperson for Afghanistan's Interior Ministry said the bomb targeted Vice President Saleh as he travelled to work. 10 civilians who worked in the area were killed and 15 people, including one of Saleh's bodyguard, were wounded. The Vice President has also remained as a former head of Afghan intelligence service and a vocal opponent of the Taliban. US President Donald Trump knew that coronavirus was deadlier than the flu before it hit his country, but intentionally downplayed the crisis, BBC reported, citing the president's interview in a new book. A forthcoming book by Bob Woodward, a famed American journalist known for the Watergate scandal, reveals that President Trump deliberately misled the US citizens throughout February and March about the pandemic. President Trump has also responded over the book and said he wanted to avoid causing public panic over the outbreak. According to BBC, President Trump has been quoted as telling journalist Woodward that the virus was deadly even before the first US death was confirmed. International media revealed that journalist Bob Woodward interviewed Trump 18 times from December 2019 to July 2020. According to Worldometer, 195,211 Americans have died and over 6,549,000 persons have been infected by COVID-19 as of today morning. You're watching Janata Television, and now the latest from the world of sports. American Serena Williams moved on to the semi-finals of the US Open as she is chasing her record-equaling career Grand Slam tally of 24. The six-time champion defeated Svetlana Pironkova with a scoreline of 4-6, 6-3, 6-2. Williams, 38, struggled early on with the variety of shots from the unranked player who was in her first tournament in 3 years. The Bulgarian, 32, broke in the fifth game en route to taking the first set. However, the veteran American came back into the game as she won the second set 6-3 and broke Pironkova twice in the third to win the match. In the men's division, last year's runner-up Daniil Medvedev saw off fellow Russian Andrei Rublev in straight sets to reach the semi-finals at Flushing Meadows. The third seed won 7-6, 6-3, 7-6 to set up a meeting with second seed Dominic Thiem Or Alex de Minaur. Medvedev, who was beaten by Rafael Nadal in 2019 final, was dominant on Arthur Ashe Stadium as he stamped his authority as one of the tournament favourites. With Roger Federer and Nadal both absent for the tournament after and Djokovic disqualified, Medvedev will join a semi-final lineup that is without a Grand Slam between them. They will all be hoping to become the first new winner of a men's slam since Marin Cilic in 2014 won the US Open. Premier League Chief Executive Richard Masters says it is absolutely critical that fans are allowed back inside stadiums as soon as possible. He says a failure to do so will cost clubs excess of £700 million in the 2020-2021 season, which starts on Saturday. Football has been played behind closed doors since its return in June following the coronavirus lockdown. As it stands, no fans will be admitted to top-flight matches in England before October at the earliest. Speaking later on Wednesday, UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced that there will be a review of plans to bring fans back into the stadium from 1st October in England amidst growing numbers of positive COVID-19 cases, BBC reported. Masters, in an interview with BBC, said Premier League has three main objectives: ensuring that all 380 matches finish on time this season, getting fans back into the stadiums, and returning Premier League economy to full health. We are at the end of Janata Bulletin and the headlines once again. Authorities ease lockdown in Kathmandu Valley. Odd-even rule to apply for vehicles starting today. Death toll from coronavirus climbs to 312. Majority of victims reported elderly people. Central bank bars banks from increasing interest rates before maturities. Be advised to pay interest for minimum balance of customers. 10 killed in Kabul blast. Vice President suffers minor injuries. And Serena Williams reaches US Open semi-finals, sets her eyes on record equaling a 24th Grand Slam title. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website at janatasamachar.com. We urge all our viewers to follow healthy hygienic practices to keep safe from any infection. Keep washing your hands, keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.